My. I thought Nicole Murphy was long over how her marriage with Eddie Murphy ended. Because wasn't she the one saying that they were always going to be family and she was always going to carry his last name?
And I always get asked that question, how come you still have Murphy? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, listen, I was married to that man for years, okay? I earned my name. I deserve my name. I have 5 children with that name. I didn't see any harm in keeping my last name. It doesn't matter.
That was her. But that divorce was allegedly something that Nicole never wanted. And people are saying that the reason that she ended up filing for divorce is because she couldn't take Eddie's roaming around town and his close relationship with some other people in the industry, such as singer Johnny Gill. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't guys who are really, really good friends and that's all, but then there's what Johnny and Eddie have going on. I mean, those two allegedly wore matching bracelets, and Johnny even took a lie detector test just to prove that he and Eddie weren't in a relationship.
But it was someone you were involved with, and because of the gay rumors, you actually did a polygraph test with her. That's wild, man. That's wild to have to actually go through that extent to show that you're straight. Like that's crazy to me.
You know, it was crazy because the rumor had been going for so long.
Yeah.
And so you start to realize and look at certain things, like I said, like a record label. They was talking to a record label. I was like, well, we would, but I think, he's gay, so we don't want to. It's like, so we hear it's all this stuff that's going. And I remember her telling me about her friend saying this and saying that, and blah, blah, blah. She never asked me to do it, but I wanted to show her something. I wanted to prove a point to her.
Now, word is that Nicole believes that there might be some truth to the whole thing with Johnny and Eddie, because with all the things she's heard and saw within her marriage to Eddie was a lot. So what exactly is there between Eddie Murphy and Johnny Gill? Before there were ever rumors about Johnny Gill and Eddie Murphy getting together, people have always given him the side eye when it came to some of the relationships that he's been caught in. Now, we know that Eddie had a full roster of women that he publicly dated along with the children to show for, but word is that it has always been a cover-up for what Eddie was really into. One time in 1997, Eddie was involved in a scandal that nearly buried his whole career when he was pulled over by police late one night in West Hollywood. Around 4 a.m, the police pulled him over for a routine check. But guess what they found in the car with him? A 20-year-old transgendered escort named Alistone Shalimar Saluli. When the police questioned him further, Eddie tried to cover it up, saying that he was merely helping someone who was in need and that there was nothing more to it. But what he said wasn't adding up, especially when people found out that he was doing all of this roaming around town while Nicole and the kids were out of town.
And I'm not gay, and I'm not, and that's what's weird about this, to have your sexuality question and your moral fiber question and all that, when all I was doing was trying to be nice to somebody.
Eddie Murphy tells E.T. that his wife and children were out of town, says he wanted something to read and went to a late-night newsstand. He stopped here and picked up the suspected transsexual at 4:45 in the morning. He says he thought he was aiding a distraught woman.
Looks like a pretty Hawaiian girl in the corner crying. It looks like she was crying. She goes, oh, Eddie Murphy. She noticed him at the light. She recognized Eddie Murphy. Oh, my God. So I go, what are you doing? Why are you out here working the streets so late? She goes, oh, I'm on my way home. Can you give me a ride home?
And who can forget what Octavia St. Laurent had to say about him? Now, Octavia had never shied away from saying what's on her mind and was very openly proud of being a transgendered woman. Octavia and Eddie had allegedly dated for a while, and she wasn't happy about the way that he tried to hide her, like he was ashamed of her. So when she called Eddie out, child, she said it with her full chest and dared him to say that she was lying.
And the women that they're married to wouldn't believe a word you said about them. And these are the reason why we have to start speaking out. Because these men who are famous or straight or perceived to be these macho guys are coming out behind their wives, their children, having oral sex, being the women behind their women.
Remember, All of this happened while Eddie and Nicole were still together. So when she eventually filed for divorce, it got leaked that one of the reasons why Nicole was getting up out of that marriage was because of Eddie's close relationship with some of his male pals. And one of them just so happened to be our R&B crooner, Johnny Gill. Rumors about Eddie and Johnny being an item go way back to the 90s when fans began to notice the friendship between the two of them. Even when Eddie and Tracy Edmonds' marriage came to an end, it was Johnny who gave insight into what happened, claiming that it was Tracy's mom, Lillian, that contributed to the split. What Johnny said was so messy, and Tracy had no choice but to tell him to stay up out of her business. Then she added, his outrageous lies were clearly a very desperate and pathetic attempt to clean up his reputation at my expense. I would appreciate it if Mr. Gill would refrain from continuing to spread false gossip and lies to the public and allow everyone involved to move on with their lives. We all know the real truth. And for Tracy to say that got people wondering what truth she was talking about and exactly how involved Johnny was in Eddie's marriage to feel so comfortable to share information like that. And then there was the revelation that one of Johnny's ex-girlfriends had to end the relationship because she just couldn't get behind Eddie and Johnny's friendship and found it all to be a bit too sus. She even said, Johnny and Eddie have always been very close friends, but I could not compete with their relationship. It was strange. I can't even explain it. Some sources also revealed that Johnny was actually living in a guest house on Eddie Murphy's property when he and Nicole were married, and this put a lot of pressure on Nicole to have to deal with the both of them at the same time. Now, the streets are also saying that Eddie and Johnny have allegedly been together this whole time, and it's only now that we have a chance to finally connect the dot. And according to some folks close to the situation, they are still creeping around together, especially at those exclusive Hollywood parties where people wouldn't bat an eye at seeing them together. I mean, even a former escort at one of the Diddy parties confirmed that he had seen them getting down in a corner and was shocked by what he saw.
I was walking down the stairs because I was just checking out. It was in the Hollywood Hills, so I was walking down the stairs and they were kissing at the bottom of the banister, like. And I'm like, damn, the Nutty Professor really is nutty. like he really is, like, and they were going at it, like. For real, like swallowing tongue.
And when Johnny Gill threatened to sue him, he doubled down on it, saying that he had no reason to duck and hide when he wasn't doing anything but telling the truth. But then again, in Hollywood these days, most DL rumors are hardly ever just rumors. And like they say, where there's smoke, there's fire. And people are certain that these stories about Eddie and Johnny just can't be all lies. Why I ain't never seen Johnny Gill with no bad B. I seen him with Eddie Murphy though, and Eddie got arrested for picking up that lady boy. So Eddie Murphy and Johnny Gill, I absolutely believe every so-called rumor about Hollywood and the industry. Girl, there were Eddie Murphy and Johnny Gill rumors since before we were born. But what do you guys think about all of this? Does Eddie Murphy like to party all the time with Johnny Gill? Well, sound off in the comments and let me know. And don't you dare click off without hitting that like and subscribe button, because I'll be seeing you in the next video. Bye, baddies.